Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Exploring DC, where we take a piece of DC and explore it with you. My name is Josh, and with me, as always, are my two co-hosts, Jackson and Jalen. How are we doing tonight?
We're doing excellent. How are we?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
I just drank some shit. I just ate some popcorn, so I'm extra thirsty right now. I just thought you should know that.
What type of popcorn?
I
'Cause-
put it in the microwave, put some butter on that bitch.
yeah, but
I salted it
are you
nicely.
getting the Orville like Redenbacher type shit, or are we getting the store brand Meyer one? You know what I mean?
I think this is the store brand, but it's no,
Okay.
no, it's like kernels. I put the kernels in the microwave, and then I put butter on it, so it's not like prepackaged bagged popcorn.
Oh, okay. Because that's normally what I do. You know what I'll get
I
behind?
mix it up. What can you get behind?
Kettle corn, bro. Kettle
I
corn is
fucking
gas.
love
Okay.
kettle corn. Kettle corn
That's
is
good.
fire.
Yeah,
Kettle
kettle corn
corn
is
should
really
be
good.
the standard. Like over regular popcorn. Regular popcorn, I think, needs like that's why they need butter or like or whatever. Just put kettle corn there because you can eat that plain.
Yeah.
Jalen, don't hate me because I'm right. I'm speaking the truth.
I don't know about that, Josh.
Oh, okay.
Controversial thing, I don't put butter on my popcorn, like, at all. I
Look,
don't
who the
put
fuck
anything.
is this guy? Who the fuck is this
Oh.
guy coming
hold
in
on,
here
hold on.
talking about how he does his popcorn?
I put the chocolate stuff in there as well. I get the little bag of chocolate, like M&Ms, and then I dump it in the popcorn. All right. So
For
you know,
the
don't
listener
kill me
at home
yet.
who's not watching, there's a strange man in the corner who's trying to tell
strange
me
man.
how he makes his popcorn.
I somehow
Jackson-
got in here.
Jackson, we had a guest a couple weeks ago, Luis, and now we have a new guest, Sam. Both introduced themselves without us introducing them. They're supposed to have the mysterious effect of waiting around until we say, and we have a special guest, but look at this.
Do I
Congratulations.
look
Sam.
mysterious to you?
No,
Do I
you're-
look
you're-
mysterious to you?
You have no
It's the-
mysterious aura
Exactly.
about
The
you.
exact opposite of mysterious. I am so excited for this episode. This is the one I've been fighting for a couple months just because it's one of my favorite shows in the realm of DC right now. We're talking about My Adventures of Superman, seasons 1 and 2. We're going to do like a broad overview, but a little focus more on season 2 because that's more current. Synopsis here. 20-somethings Clark Kent, the bright and driven Lois Lane, and their best friend Jimmy Olsen begin to discover who they are and everything they can accomplish together as an investigative reporting team at the Daily Planet. This is showrun by Jake Wyatt, Brendan Cloffer, and Josie Campbell. And then another cool thing was that all the directors of this show, it's been 3 women so far, Jen Bennett, Diana Hugh, and Christina Manrique. And it's cool to see an all-women directing team, but then on top of that, they all worked on the She-Ra Netflix show from a couple years ago. And I feel like tonally, you can kind of definitely feel that
Also, it's in a
influence.
similar like art style. If you look at She-Ra and then you look at My Adventures with Superman, the way the characters are designed is like
Absolutely.
very similar.
Yeah.
Once again, who's the strange man in the corner who has not said his name yet?
Oh,
I said it was Sam.
I'm Sam.
Oh, did you? Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. I wasn't listening to you.
Yes, Sam is here. We are very excited. Gonna have 4 people on today, and we're gonna see how that goes. What else do I got here? Score by Dominic Lewis Jackson. This one was interesting to me. Look, I'm gonna read you some of these. All right, Bullet Train, Fall Guy, Violent Night, the upcoming Karate Kid. The most random assortment of scores, but his first solo score was the 2013 animated movie Three Birds. The Thanksgiving movie,
That's-
bro. And I'll
That's
tell you
so
fucking
funny.
what. I'll tell you fucking what. That score is really good because I watched it with our buddy Jem a couple months ago who did the logo for this podcast. Loki, a good score. I won't even. I will stand by that. I don't care.
Are you telling me I need to go listen to the Freebird score?
I'm telling you, you need to go watch Freebirds because it's a Thanksgiving classic.
I'll get around to it this year. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Any notes on the score here, Jackson? Across the season
I
watched?
do I do enjoy the score in this one. I like the kind of rock centric energy it carries. I think it's unique for Superman.
Yeah, I love the opening intro song so much.
Yeah.
Delights me.
And that was done by different people, right?
Yeah, it was by a band. I don't have it on hand, but I could look it up for later if we want to look
Okay.
that up. Animation by Studio Mir. They've been working on X-Men 97 recently. They've also done Harley Quinn. They did the recent seasons of Young
Ooh.
Justice, and they did Legend of Korra and a lot of cool stuff. They've been around. And then cast here, our main 3, Jack Quaid as Clark Kent and Superman, He's done The Boys. He did Novocaine recently and a couple of these other smaller movies. Very interesting choice. It's a big departure from what you would normally expect from a Superman voice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were initially very hesitant on it, and I was too, but I've grown a lot accustomed to it. Alice Lee is Lois Lane.
Yeah.
She hasn't done a lot. She's done a lot of network TV, but she's also been in the realm of music a bit. And then Ishmael Zahid is Jimmy Olsen. He was on jury duty. He was one of the jurors. And then he was on this show later that year. Or I think it was the year after. And then other characters here, we got Deathstroke, Sam Lane, Amanda Waller, Perry White, Lex Luthor, or Alex for most of season 1, then they changed it to Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor also does the voices for Hank Henshaw and Atomic Skull, so he's doing quite a bit there. A few interesting voices here. Deborah Wilson does Amanda Waller. She did Seer Jenda in the Jedi Survivor.
That's her. Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
And I definitely recognized that as I looked into it. I'm
Yes,
like, yeah,
that
you can
makes
tell.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. Our two new main cast members for season 2 were Kiana Madeira, Supergirl. She had a brief stint on The Flash, but she starred in those Fear Street movies a couple years ago, and we're now getting a new Fear Street.
Oh wait,
That's why I remember her.
Oh, she
Those
was.
movies
Yeah.
suck. I watched
Bro!
3 of those.
They have a new
Wait,
Fear Street
wait,
movie coming
wait,
out
Jackson.
like next week.
Yeah, those
Yes.
movies suck, buddy. Oh
terrible.
no!
They're not
Okay,
good.
all right.
That's a bad take.
No, I'm
No,
sorry, I really
that's
tried.
a really bad
Because
take. That's a terrible take.
I liked it when I liked it when Britta from Community was in it.
I don't even remember that. Oh, that was the end of like one of them because she
Yeah.
was the old.
Think so.
Yeah, I
No,
liked
those-
them. They're fun. They're pulpy, bro.
I like Pulpy. I don't know. Those movies didn't click with me.
Right. Michael
like them.
Emerson does Brainiac. He was on Arrow for a bit. I believe he played. I'm trying to remember. What was that? There was a hacker villain in season 4, but I'm blanking on his name. But I remember
Yeah,
he
dude.
was a big part of
You
it.
know what? I really remember the hacker villain from Arrow season 4.
You really remember the Arrowverse. Well, the thing was interesting about him is that he blew up a whole town, bro. He like nuked a whole. Yeah,
That's so funny.
it was a whole stint, dude. And then the two that blew my mind here, bro.
Okay.
So you know how there's that villain Mist. He's mostly in season 1. They have the group of like smaller villains. They have Livewire, and then there's one of the brothers is Mist, and he can like turn invisible.
Yes.
Voiced by Lucas Grabeel, who played Ryan from the Ryan and Sharpay duo in High School Musical.
What?
Really?
Fascinating.
That's crazy.
And also, I looked into it, and apparently Lucas Grabeel, Ryan from High School Musical, played Connor Kent in Smallville,
Oh, that's funny.
which I did
Wow.
not know. So, and then Jackson, this one's interesting. We only see her a little bit towards the end of season 2 in those like visions. Superman's mom, Lara,
Yes.
played by Rhea Seehorn from
Oh, what
Better
the
Call
fuck?
Saul.
What
Right?
the fuck? Are you serious?
Such
I
a
did
big
not.
pull.
I did not pick up on that.
Because I looked at who was cast as Jor-El, not a big actor, but apparently Rhea Seehorn was cast as Lara.
Are they planning to put more of Superman's mom in? Because that's like a
Right?
really bizarre pull.
Yeah.
But then again, Rhea Seehorn does not get the work she should because her performance in Better Call Saul is like one of the best performances we've ever gotten on television. But I digress. I will not go down the Better Call Saul rabbit hole because I will never come out.
Dude, I get you. And then a little bit of background before we dive into it. It was announced in May 2021, originally for Cartoon Network and HBO Max. Then it kind of had a couple years of development and then shift changes with leadership. They showed James Gunn the opening sequence and he liked it, so they allowed production to continue. And then it came out in the summer of 23, now under Adult Swim and Max and all the BS. And we've been going on 2 seasons now. And that's pretty much where we're at right now. I'm going to start with everyone about their initial kind of experience with it. Have you been watching it? Is this new to you? I'll start with you, Jalen. Hit me with it.
Oh yeah, nah. I'm gonna be real. I wasn't really paying attention to this series at all before we had to do this for the we had to do this for the pod, right? And like most movies and like most of these TV shows, I kind of watch it like right before or
Yeah.
you know, a few days before, right? So I started yesterday, and I've literally been grinding this entire show in the span of a day and a half,
Ooh.
right? So it's all fresh, bro. It is actually phenomenal. It is genuinely
Dude.
maybe one of my maybe in like my top 3 favorite Superman adaptations ever.
See, I've been in the trenches, bro. I've been saying this for 2 years.
Yeah, bro, it's so good.
I'm so excited.
It's so good.
I'm gonna differ from Jalen here. I watched season 1 when it came out.
Yes.
I watched it like weekly as it came out, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for whatever reason, I just didn't watch season 2, despite really enjoying season 1. And so I watched season 1 over the past couple days, or season 2 rather, over the past couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, Jackson, was like seeing some of your like live interpretations because you were questioning some things, and I was like, keep watching, bro. Like just see, and then it all comes together in season 2.
And I'm sure we'll get into that, which I assume will be spoiling everything. So if you haven't watched it,
I mean, yeah.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's really good.
Sam, I don't know your actual experience with it. Hit me. Where are you
watched
at?
it when it came out, both seasons. I am a big animation person as well as anime. So when I saw that they were doing like more anime style, because they do a lot of like anime style stuff in the thing, like especially like with making a lot of the villains like they're more armored, they're more like tech based. Like there's that purple guy. He's in one of the other Superman All-Star. He's in Superman All-Star Parasite.
Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite. Parasite in the comics is like this big blob of just purple that eats up energy. In this show, I really liked that he was like this like tech thing that just kept growing and adding different parts, which was a different interpretation to it, which I really liked. So overall, I think this show has been phenomenal. I think they've done a great job with all the characters, especially like I think casting Jack Quaid as Superman was such a surprise hit that I don't think anybody really expected. Like, I did not expect him to do so well. Like, he plays both Clark Kent and Superman so, like, distinctively.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that easily could have been a stunt casting, too, you know? But it never really feels that way to me.
My favorite Nepo baby, Jack Quaid. I love my man. Yeah, dude, I've been in this show since there was just the initial like announcement image back in 2021, because that's when I was running DC TV Center and I was covering the show. So I remember that got announced, and around the same time Cape Crusader got announced, and both shows just like felt like they were never coming out. They kept getting pushed back and back, and I was like, I want both of these really bad, especially a Superman animated series, which we haven't seen in. Jalen, I don't remember last time we saw a full-fledged solo Superman animated series. It might have been back in the original.
Yeah, it was like
Ron, Superman the animated series.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to count Legion of Superheroes, since that was Superman led,
right? Which even then is like
that's iffy. So it's been a while for sure.
Yeah. So I was so excited for it, and then it came out, and it came out at a really good time for me where I needed a pick-me-up show, and it definitely worked there. I love that it comes out in the summer because it has that vibe. And yeah, loved season 1, loved season 2. I didn't necessarily need to rewatch the whole show before this episode, but I did. I watched all of season 2 today.
Really?
Me too!
Wow. I started this month.
Bro, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Jalen.
So good,
dude. I like. Oh man, I've been turning it on. At least season 1, I was turning it on like when I was going to bed, and it was such a nice like way to finish off the day. I don't know where to start here. Let's just get into some of these main 3. We have Superman, Lois, Jimmy, Jackson. These are kind of different interpretations than you normally see in terms of like they're a little more diverse and they have different personalities a bit, especially with Jimmy. He gets a little more cartoonish, but I think what they do here really like endears you to them incredibly well.
I'm going to make a comparison, and I'm going to need you to hear me out.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like what they wanted to do. No, listen. And this is... all right. You're going to have... Listen, hear me out, because I promise what I'm going to say is going to make sense.
If you say Andor, I'm actually going to...
I'm not. I promise. Listen, hear me out.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like what they wanted to do with Homecoming in terms of modernizing and kind of reinterpreting a lot of the characters, but it feels more successful than it was then. It felt like that they were able to heighten some of the characters a little bit more and kind of twist their personalities a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, it feels a little more successful than Homecoming was, because I think it captures the core essence of each character a little bit better. Because like everybody is Sam, you mentioned the anime inspiration earlier. Everyone is kind of like heightened and exaggerated. right?
Yeah.
Even down to Lex. But I think like because like you watch Lex in this and you kind of think of, at least for me, I thought of Jesse Eisenberg's
Exactly.
portrayal
Same.
of Lex a little bit.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
I thought it was there.
But I feel like the core of Lex is in the writing here. Also, I am a defender of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex, so like, you know, you don't really need to win me much there, but
Right.
I thought that like all the portrayals of the characters were really solid.
Yeah. Were you always on board with Jack Quaid as Superman?
I think when it was announced, I was like, well, that's fucking dumb. But
Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly, that was so long ago, I honestly can't remember it that well. But it really didn't take me long to kind of get on board with what he was doing with the voice. I think it works real well.
Sam, how about you? How are you feeling about this core trio in
I
terms
think
of
they
adaptations?
I really like that they actually gave Jimmy like a lot more than like in anything else. Like in the comics, in other shows, like he's just kind of like he's there, you know, right? He doesn't do a whole lot except, you know, exposition, background talking, being there.
Sometimes he joins the CIA.
And
Yeah,
gets shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gets shot with a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really like the way that they did Lois. Like a lot of people, I remember there was such like, you know, controversy, right?
forgot
Like,
about that.
about Lois, like, you know, and it's like she's a reporter. She's supposed to be like digging for shit, even if it's not like you're not supposed to be digging for it, right? She's supposed to make like show stuff to the public, make things obvious, right? And that was before she knew that Clark was Superman. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I just think that whole thing was done so well. And then Clark, his whole thing, right? They do it so well. Like I can't really find anything to like really critique. I'm sure if I really looked, I could, but like baseline, it's easily very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good points there. Because one, they said they're heavy. We've been watching the Donner movies. We've done Superman 2 so far. They said they were heavily influenced by that first Donner Superman film with the Clark Lois dynamic, and especially with how Lois is similar to Margot Kidder, in which she's like very proactive in the relationship and very like fights back against Superman and goes back and forth. And it's really cool to see that in the modern age, because I'm hoping we get that in the new Superman, which also seems to be inspired by it. But then also what you said about Jimmy. Again, we've been watching the Donner movies, and he's like, what, a background character that just takes pictures, and
he's there.
We haven't seen a proper even in the animated media. We don't see a ton of him in a lot of stuff, so it's cool to see him. This feels very much like classic, like Jimmy Olsen from the Golden Age comics, where he would turn into a dinosaur or some shit. Like that's the type of Jimmy that we're getting here.
Jimmy does tend to find himself in situations in this show,
but he's the goat, dude.
Is when he wins the lottery, and it just shows the money just ticking down, down, until he's just out.
That's one of my favorite running bits of the show.
It's so good.
It's so good. Jalen, how about you?
Yeah, no, like kind of going off of what Sam said, like the relationship between Clark, Lois, and Jimmy is definitely the heartbeat of the show, especially the relationship between Lois and Clark. I think for me, my standout performance of the entire series might be the girl who plays Lois. That performance is so good, and I remember like the episode, I think it was episode 4 or 5 of season 2, when you know you're getting your flashbacks of her and Sam Lane's relationship, and you're kind of flashing back between how that relationship is nowadays and how that relationship was when she was younger. And I can't lie, bro, I was tearing up, man. That performance that she gave
so good.
So good, and it was so heartfelt, and like just in some of her more emotional moments and in some of her more emotional line deliveries, like when she was questioning Clark on, you know, what else has he lied about, how she felt betrayed because she hates liars, and you know when she, you know, voice all choked up and everything, says, were you lying about your feelings for me? And it was just the way that actress delivered that was so good, and it pulled you in so much. And I think that especially with one of my favorite aspects of the Superman character in the comics and in, you know, in media of any form is that relationship between Clark and Lois. And even like kind of like Jackson always points out, one of my favorite moments from the actual Superman trailer is that kiss between him and Lois because it's so passionate. So, you can see the chemistry there. And
They made it horny.
yeah, they made it horny. So it's like going into this series and really living in that relationship between Clark and Lois was definitely my favorite aspect of the series for sure.
I think that's another reason why I really gravitate towards season 1 because you get a lot of those early relationship moments, and I love Lois's like initial. She's finding out about Clark's identity in episode 4, episode 5. Like we're not wasting time, and it's they handle it so well. Like she's appropriately upset, but it's not like a drawn out thing maybe you'd see on a CW show, which I love. But it'd be like something that would take 3 episodes to resolve. And this one, it's like we get through the baggage of it all, and we get going, and then they're in a relationship, and they have such good chemistry, and it's such a nice wholesome relationship where they actually are helping each other.
Yeah.
And it's something that, again, I really want to see. When I was watching the Superman trailer and everything James Gunn was saying, this show was in the back of my mind. Like, this is what I want. Maybe not to the extent of what the tone is, which we'll get into, but like this vibe and this optimism is what I want in everything Superman. And I think that's where I'll transition, because the tone here is what I love the most. I've told Jackson before, this feels like old cartoons I used to watch as a kid, and it feels specifically very much like the Pokemon show, which I grew up with. Right.
That's
It feels
exactly what I thought of.
where it's like it's kind of anime-esque, and there's definitely anime moments, but it's not full-blown. You're not getting like Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I love just that there's serious moments, and they're tackling an overarching story, but at the end of the day, it is kind of episodic and still so fun and so wholesome. Every time I watch an episode, I'm just like enjoying being in this world. Even how it's lit and animated, everything is just so bright, and I love it so much.
Yeah, which like on this whole world thing, this one of my things that I loved about this series is that it did feel like DCAU, like the DCAU, and also the level of world building. You kind of went into each episode not knowing who was going to show up, like Steel and Atomic Skull and Vicky Vale and, all these other characters who you would have never... even, like, small, obscure characters like Silver St. Cloud and this other character named Maya, who was in, like, the dating show episode Kara's first appearance, right? Like you have all these characters who you wouldn't really see in media of any kind outside of the comics, and it felt like... and I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but it did feel like there is a universe building here, which there might be with My Adventures with the Green Lantern, but, I'm sure we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, I love that it's so Superman focused too. Like again, they could be setting up stuff, but it's not like Batman's just showing up out of nowhere, and we're getting that. Like, it's still all the villains are tied into Superman, whether it's the Kryptonian tech or they're his actual villains, and it's a good way to really expand stuff, but I also don't feel lost with like trying to explain who Atomic Skull is. Like, he's here, and I just understand why he's here.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I felt too, especially like with the appearance of how big of a part Livewire kind of played in this season. Or in the series overall, and especially with Task Force X, I did not expect them to go in that direction as the main villains of a Superman series, and the team was sick, so especially Deathstroke. I loved this adaptation of Deathstroke. It felt very anime to me.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's where I could push back, but I'm curious, Sam. I'll hit you. This villain lineup is not your traditional Superman lineup, at least from like some of the lower level stuff, because you're getting Silver Banshee, and you're getting Mist, and you're getting even Heatwave, and some of these are like Flash villains straight up that are being thrown into a Superman cartoon. And then Amanda Waller is not traditionally a full-blown Superman villain. Deathstroke is not a full-blown Superman villain. But then later on, we're getting a lot more traditional stuff. We're getting Parasite, we're getting Lex Luthor, and then we're getting Brainiac in season 2. How did you feel about how they transitioned everything and set all these villains up? Because there's a lot in here.
Yeah. It is packed to the brim. It's just like a lot of different villains. I like that they picked people that, like, before the show, I was like, who are you? I have no idea who you are. I appreciated that they introduced, like, new characters to like a broader audience because that, helps them get more popular. Maybe they get something, right? Obviously, I'm a big Deathstroke fan, and seeing him be that way in the show, right, kind of reminded me of the way that he was in the original Teen Titans show. Like he was just on their ass the entire time, and that's what he was with Superman. He was just jumping him the entire time. I was like, yes, this is exactly how Deathstroke is supposed to be.
That's perfect.
I don't like the other versions of Deathstroke where it's like, I'm not gonna mention them, but Judas Contract Deathstroke is like, ugh.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, yes, finally, it's cool to like Deathstroke again. And then obviously, I was surprised with the design that they did for Brainiac. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe I'm hitting it off on the wrong thing, but it reminded me of the way some of the like evil characters look in like Destiny or Destiny 2, like the games. Like it kind of looked like that. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but like the big like weird head, right?
I have a big gripe, and I'm gonna get this out of the way now. A lot of the aesthetics of this show feel very uniform, and the only comparison that I can really draw is once again to Spider-Man. But like Insomniac Spider-Man has this thing where all the villains, their suits look like they were made by the same fucking person.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the same thing in this show with its like rogues gallery. And I wish there was a little more. Granted, Brainiac is more of an exception to this, but I wish there was just a little more diversity in how the costumes were designed for a lot of the antagonists, especially if you get to the end of season 2 and you see them all lined up and it's like, man, all your costumes look the fucking same.
Yeah, the only person that really has a different costume is Deathstroke. And obviously Brainiac's design is more, is more out there, but yeah, I agree with that.
I always heard from the get-go that the designs of everything were people's biggest complaint. Even the Superman suit.
I like the Superman suit.
I think people think it's very like jagged and rigid, a lot of these suits, and I get it. I like that they at least explain why they're all similar, that they're all Kryptonian tech, and it's not just like they're deciding to wear the same stuff. But would I rather see an accurate version of Heatwave with like the goggles and everything? Yeah. Would I rather see Livewire like full-blown punk rocker? Yeah. And even Deathstroke, I do not love Deathstroke.
I don't like the mask.
I think he looks kind of goofy. And I don't want to be the downer, but like I wish Deathstroke was a little older in this show. He feels so young.
I was gonna bring that up. Is when everybody is so heightened. It's everybody. Every character is so fucking heightened. You want some people to kind of ground it down, and you do get that. Like Amanda is maybe the biggest one in season 2 that really like is a little more down to earth. And I kind of wish Slade was a little less heightened. And yeah, I would have liked for him to have been a bit older too. I get that like everybody in this universe is on the younger side, but with Slade, I think you could have, because he feels like he's in his 20s or 30s. Like he feels young. And I would have liked for him to be just a tad bit older, but that's just me.
It's one of those characters that I get why they're having Clark, Lois, Jimmy, and Lex all be younger to establish them.
Yes, and I think it works.
I think Deathstroke, with the place he's at right now, feels like he already is established in this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't... He works for me sometimes, but other times I'm like, I wish you were doing more with the character than what we're... Because they're not doing a lot with him. He just kind of is there.
And it is a pain, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and he's fun in that respect. Like, he's a fun, recurring villain. But if you're going to bring in a character like Deathstroke that people really like, I think you could do more with him and maybe ground him more. Sorry to... to pout on it, Jalen. I know you really liked it.
No, it's all good because
I've never been big on this Deathstroke, man.
Yeah, no, because
I mean, I was a little bit surprised when they decided like to make him really young because like with the anime aesthetic, right? There's a lot of old guys in anime that are just like they will literally beat the brakes off of everybody in the entire show, and I was kind of surprised that they didn't do that with Deathstroke because that's like his entire thing of being like really old, but he can still beat the brakes off of you because he's still like combat wise on par with Batman, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that with him in this show.
Yeah,
especially because Superman like doesn't know any martial arts at all or anything combat wise. He just knows how to throw a punch. So
Yeah.
Right.
That was like part of the
I
that was like part of the thing that I think I liked a little bit, Josh, about his design and about it is that he just felt more ninja-esque, and at first I wasn't really feeling it, I'm gonna be honest. Like when I first saw him, I was like, who is this guy supposed to be? And I was trying to like comb through my DC database in my brain and like, okay, could this be this person, could this be this person? And then when he pulls out the two swords, and I believe it's Sam who's like, fall back Mr. Wilson or something, whatever, then I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be Deathstroke. And then you just see certain moments where he's just like dogging on Superman, like Sam said, like he's jumping him at every opportunity, like it's on sight, and Superman can't even get like hits off at points, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And just how he's moving like really quickly to the point where you can't even see him at times. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of sick, so it works for me.
Another thing I've loved about this show, it's not villain specific. I love all the like very goofy side, not exactly like protagonists, but like you have the Brain and Monsieur Mala come in for a couple episodes, and they're so fun. I love the Mixed Spitalik episode. I thought he was a really cool adaptation of it. Even John Henry Irons had some cool stuff, and he has this huge war suit at the end. I think they sprinkle in characters really well for like when you're doing an offshoot episode. Sometimes it can feel like it's kind of a miss, but every one of these offshoots I'm really enjoying being around these like goofy side characters.
Yeah, no, I think even like there was one actually I guess this doesn't really count as a side, as these don't really count as side characters, but there was one moment where Clark was going through the whole training scenario that Brainiac put him in, and we got like this little moment with, I guess, a gorilla Green Lantern. And the way that he was using his powers, oh, Josh, you guys know how much I like. Sam, I am a huge Green Lantern fan. Like, Green Lantern is my pride and joy.
Yes.
So,
like,
oh wait,
I have it's not here, but I have like a bunch of Green Lantern stuff in my basement.
Yes,
like, he is literally my one of my favorite superheroes, because it's just imagination.
Yes.
So like,
yes,
like
so
a lot
I
of
love
people
so
are like,
much.
oh, Hal Jordan is like, no, literally. Any of the other ones have such cooler, like, they have imagination. It's not just, oh, machine gun, shield.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
There's two of them
a giant
now.
mech. It's like a railgun that can shoot a black hole or something. And it's like, that's interesting.
Yes.
Do that.
Yes, even
and it's
like,
oh, I'm just going to make a punch.
bro, even like Kyle Rayner, how he uses Gundams
Exactly.
as his main like weapon, as his main creation. Oh, it's so good. But it's like when I saw that, when I saw that, like when I saw how they were using the Green Lantern ability, kind of like airbending or waterbending a little bit, but with different weapons and stuff. It was so cool, man. And like, I guess that's like another point to what you can really do with the Green Lanterns and just with superheroes in general in animation. Especially in this type of anime style, you can really ham it up.
Yeah.
And truly make it as cool as it can possibly be.
That was something I noticed a lot at the back half of season 2, is that I love the fight sequences in this show when they go full out, and they go full out, especially towards the end. Jackson, how are you feeling about like what they were doing with Brainiac and Supergirl in that whole final fight? Because you got to been locked in a little bit.
Supergirl rocked in this show.
She did.
I really,
Right?
I know I'm like kind of switching gears here a bit, but I've been itching to talk about it because I really, 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 really like this adaptation of Supergirl, and those last, like, that 2-part finale was really kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you first watched it, you were confused, right? Because you texted me about it.
I did. I texted you and I said, why is Supergirl moving like Zod?
Yeah.
But I realized very quickly that she was like under some sort of external influence, and then it's Brainiac, and that was kind of a cool way to do it. And I think that the way that they wrote Kara, the way that the voice actor kind of voiced her, it was all done with a lot of intention, and I think they struck a really good balance.
Mm.
And it's a character that's seemingly going to be part of the main group in
Which
season
I'm
3.
so excited about. That makes me really happy.
So how they introduce her at the beginning of season 2, and they're like, hey, your cousin exists and there's a beacon, you define it. But we don't get it till halfway through the season when she shows up, and then the whole back half of the season is trying to get her out of this under this influence, and we see brief moments of her being like in with Jimmy and like calm and stuff, but a lot of it is her in war mode, and so yeah, it's gonna be a completely different dynamic, and I think it also speaks to kind of the modern Supergirl of like having all this baggage, and maybe something we're gonna see in the DCU as well.
One would think, considering the comic they're adapting.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe not to this level of like
being
under influence and everything.
Blew up planets.
Yeah. Jalen, how'd you feel about Supergirl?
Oh, dude, she rocks. She was, she like every single time she was on screen, scene stealer. Like every single time. This is one of my favorite adaptations of
Flamebird.
Yeah, Jimmy Flame. Oh, which also that is
It cracks me up every time she said that.
That's actually fun fact. That is a reference to the very first Batgirl from the '60s in comics. She ended up taking the name of Flamebird later on. Yeah. Her name was Bet Kane. She's the niece of Kathy Kane, who was the very first Batwoman. The more you know, exploring DC viewers or listeners.
Did not know this. I explored and I learned.
You explored and you learned.
No, but Supergirl was awesome for sure.
Supergirl rocks. I even loved her like Zod Brainiac suit, the red and black.
I like that design a lot.
I like the black and red.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So good. And then I think her moments of Jimmy, like I didn't know how that pairing was gonna go, and I love it.
It was a surprise for me. That was so good.
That could have been so bad.
It hit really well.
Dude, in most shows that would have fucking sucked, but they did it so well. Like it was written with such charm. I really loved all their interactions.
Yeah, and it speaks to just how well Jimmy is as a supporting character, and honestly how well the humor is in this show. I was like,
it was funny.
I was having a good time with rewatching this show. There's some funny bits. I love the bit where they have so much tension. It's the end of season 1 at Thanksgiving where Sam Lane first shows up, and because he's the general, and then Jimmy shows up. And everyone like tries to get him for information, even Ma and Pa like trying to get him to watch the turkey. And then he goes into the room of Sam. He's like, "Do you have to ask me a question?" Sam's like, "I don't know you, dude." It's like, bro. I also love Ma and Pa Ken, by the way. I love that Pa's alive, and then they're just wholesome, chill people that are hanging out the house. They have no conflict. They're just happy to be here. They're two of my favorites. I adore them. They're precious people.
That they are.
Let me get into some of the stuff with season 1 though, and then leading into season 2. Sam, a big thing is that the first season is about Sam Lane saw this invasion a long time ago, and he is afraid of that happening again. So that's why he has a grudge against Superman and is trying to stop him, along with Amanda Waller, and that feeds into a lot of the conflict. And Amanda Waller keeps showing up along with Task Force X. Do you feel like that was a good like baseline for having a recurring antagonist in the show? Because it's again not something we typically see. We don't typically see Amanda Waller in Task Force X with Superman. It's not a natural pairing.
I think they like obviously it could have gone like really badly. Like there are some iffy, and Amanda Waller stuff, like it's just like not done well. But she was really good in this show, and so was Task Force X, and so was Sam Lane. Like that, he was a surprise. Like I don't think Lois had like her dad is like a military person in the comics or anything, right? He was just a new character, I think, right?
No, Sam Lane is a military person.
He's a general in the comics,
right. Traditionally.
Yeah. I really like the way that they did him in the first season, and especially in the second season as well. Like, in having the reoccurring antagonist like Task Force X, just always just getting on Superman's ass, that was great. I liked that a lot. It could have gone badly, but like everything about the show, as Jackson said already, it's all so intentional that it works really, really well together. Like there's no parts where it's like, oh, this kind of just happened, right? It's kind of just there. They all connect really well. So I think that's a key part of why like Task Force X, Amanda Waller, Deathstroke all work together really well in like the first season. Yeah,
and the scale of everything works well too, because you feel like he's constantly overwhelmed by all that is going on, but at the same time, he is Superman. Like, if Mist pulls up on him, he's gonna, like, easily win. And I think they balance that really well, because Superman is a very hard character to juggle, especially with, like, I guess, power scaling, if we want to be like that. And I think even with, like, lower level villains like Heatwave, they balance that. I don't know what else I really want to get into in terms of the main show. I think the tone I really loved, the animation I've really loved. I'm curious where they're gonna go in season 3, and we'll talk about that in a second. Do we have any like other asides about the actual show and what we like or dislike about it, Jackson?
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I got through season 2 really quick. It was not something that I waited to the last minute to finish. I really burned. Like, I started it earlier this week. That's not a dig at you, Jalen. I swear to God, because I'm known to finish these right before we start.
Right.
I'm saying I woke up. Listen, that's not a dig at you, bro. I swear. I woke up this morning with 4 left, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get through 2 today and 2 later. And I burned through all 4 like in one sitting. It really did hook me. I had a really, 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 really good time watching this. I was fully engaged the whole time.
Well, there's a reason I reminded you guys a bunch, because I knew you guys were like late watchers. I'm like, I don't want you to miss this episode because I love this show, and I know you'll love it if you actually commit to it.
I'm gonna say it was weird. I honestly don't know why I didn't watch season 2 when it came out. I think I just had a lot going on and just didn't get to it. Because like the moment that I clicked play on season 2 episode 1, I was like, oh yeah, this show's like really good, and I really like watching it. I don't know why I didn't watch it sooner. Because I watched season 1 when it aired. I really enjoyed it. I think I liked season 2 even more. I thought it might have just hit his groove just a tad bit more than season 1 did. And I also think the introduction of Kara really helped. I think she's a really good character in the show. That kind of ties the whole dynamics together. And obviously getting more Lex, I think really helped the show. Because I like this version of Lex. I think he's good. And I like the way that they're building Lex up to be a bigger threat. Kind of progressively. I think that's really cool. How they're really it reminds me of Spectacular Spider-Man kind of in that way, where it really it really takes its time to build up its like big villains, you know.
He's very much a little shit in the way that Lex Luthor is.
He's a little shit.
They do a lot of cool things with him in season 2. I'm glad that we dropped the whole like my name is Alex and then it cuts off bit fast, because like it's charming, but at the same time I couldn't do it for too long. I'm like, bro, let's just get that over with. Jalen, how about you? Season 1, season 2?
Season 2 is like, I loved season 1 because, like I said, I knocked all these out in 10 hours. So between yesterday and today, right? Literally, that's all I've done today is lay on this bed and watch the show. So with it all together, I really, really, really love this series. Like I said, season 2, in my opinion, is better than season 1. This is one of maybe my favorite iteration of Kara. You know, we'll see if the DCU version takes that over. But this version of Kara was so cool. She had so much depth to her. So like the actress playing her had so much emotion in her dialogue. So good. Love the series. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. All right, Sam, I'll hit you with it. Season 1, season 2.
I really liked season 1 because season 1 came out like 2023, right?
Yep. Summer of.
So comparatively watching like the whole thing with Lois and Clark, the whole like, balancing superhero identity, regular relationship, his like himself, right? And then balancing all that together, that was done like so much better than I would have liked, because like season 1 and season 2 of Invincible, the whole thing with Amber, it's like like comparatively, like comparing how like they do Amber and Mark, and then Lois and Clark, like the whole like superhero identity, Lois and Clark just take like knock it out of the park. They do it so much better because like you can actually understand why they're like fighting about it, because obviously she's a reporter. She has to know the truth. It's like part of her identity. like I forget who said it earlier in the episode, is that she doesn't like liars. That was a whole thing, and that was a whole like kind of like road bump
Mhm.
to their relationship. So like season one is definitely really good, but like I really love the direction that they're going for like the seasons, and I can't wait for season three.
Yeah. I'll stick with you, dude. I'm a season one like diehard. I think that is such a pure piece of media. Season two is really good, but also like the back half is very heavy, I guess, for this show. And it goes very much into the Brainiac stuff and into
Yeah.
the car stuff. For
Yeah,
season one, I just feel like the optimism the whole time, even with some of the stuff with Zero Day and Sam. And there's a moment at the end of season one that like sticks with me so much, especially on rewatch, where it's Parasite and he's fighting him, the giant kaiju parasite, and he's just getting perplexed. He's like, "Who are you?" And then Superman just like bullets through him, and it's a striking shot. And he's like, "Haven't you read the papers? I'm Superman." As he's like holding, dude, that's it. That's fucking it, man.
Hmm.
That's I love this show. I'm like ecstatic about it. Every time I talk about it, I am so excited for
Tell us
season
how you
three.
really feel.
Dude, this has been. I would get you. You put me in. You see, like, I don't know, bro. It'd be tough if James Gunn's Superman is in one room and this season three of this show is another room. Like that's where I'm at right now. Like,
Wow.
you know,
Oh wow.
shit, dude.
Oh wow.
It is my favorite ongoing DC show and one of my favorites
I'd agree
of
with
the
that.
past.
yeah,
Because
I
I,
think-
mean, it's just this and Peacemaker, right?
Batman.
Pretty much,
Wait.
and then some of the other ones like Cape Crusader,
Yeah.
Sandman, random stuff. But
Harley
even like
Quinn, all that, yeah.
even if you want to pull in like a lot of the canceled shows recently, I think maybe only Doom Patrol would get above it for me of like the past 5 or so years of what I was covering on the page. I adore this show, man. Let's get into season 3 a little bit. I sent you guys some concept art for some
Yes.
stuff they're doing. There's one shot of just the 4 of them walking, which I love because it's
Is that supposed
just
to be an Abbey Road reference?
No, I think it just expands on a shot of the 3 of them walking that was used a lot in promotion. Now Car is
Okay.
in it. Also, oh wait, I need to mention this. I love the intro so much. I never skip the intro.
It's so good.
I am
It's
so
very good.
sad they changed the outro, the credits in season 2, because I love the credits in season 1 where it's the
Yeah.
pictures rolling and Jimmy's walking, and then in season 2 it's just kind of like
Mhm.
still shots. That is so random.
Yeah.
But I need them to go back to the. Jalen, do you know what I'm talking about at the end of season 1 episodes where it's Jimmy walking and it's the photo
Yeah.
scrolling up? I want that.
Yeah, no, because there was
I need that
one.
back.
There was one, the Mr. Mixius Spitalik episode, where the pictures of what Mixie was doing throughout the entire episode, and there was one picture where bro was just mewing at the camera, with the lip biting and it took me out. I need that back, like you, Josh.
I need it back. But at least they have the intro. The intro's perfect. It's so beautiful. Anyway, season 3, we got a shot of 4 of them. We also got a shot of that intro. We see like the big villain overview. The one thing I noticed personally, I'd have to dive deeper into it, is that we see bald Lex very much at the front.
Oh, interesting.
And that signals to me, we see at the end of season 2 that him and Deathstroke are going to be working together now that Amanda Waller's kind of on the lam. I think Lex is going to be a big, maybe the main focus of this upcoming season.
I'm
Yeah.
ready for it.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that ties into the other big thing that they're introducing, which could be, we'll see how it goes, is Superboy. And this is very much inspired by like the return of the Superman, or Reign of the Superman, like the John Kent from the 90s with the black hair and the leather jacket and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen, is this a big swing for them to do?
Honestly,
This
no, because if you really think about it, so much Kryptonian DNA and technology has found its way across Metropolis into the government's hands, into Lex Luthor's hands. So it wouldn't be
Right.
out of left field for them to be like, all right, Luthor, for Luthor to put the Con-El program into Cadmus, into fruition. I'm excited for it, honestly. I love that look. He had a run in the 90s, just his own run, that where he sported that look,
Mhm.
and one of his main villains in that run was King Shark. So if they
Awesome.
give us a version of King Shark in this show, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm excited for Superboy.
Yeah, Lex and Superboy is season 3's main plot. I'm there for that. That's a lot of And I'm curious what other villains we're going to be bringing into this, because I would love to see a little more side villains besides like the crop we have right now. Is there any wish list villains, Jackson or Sam, of like small Superman villains?
I'm trying to think.
They've touched on a lot.
Yeah,
already.
they've touched on a lot of.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm very well versed in obscure Superman villains.
Right.
Kite Man.
I can't.
Okay, man.
That
Hell
would
yeah.
certainly be a pick. Honestly,
Yeah.
I can see them introducing, like, if there's somebody like Kite Man for Superman, just he keeps showing up every episode and just, like, immediately gets swatted to the side, but he just keeps coming back. Like, he's just, like, gum on the bottom of your shoe that just won't go away. I think that would be, like, a really funny, like, just, like bit that can just keep going the entire season of just him coming back after, like, terrible injuries, and he just keeps coming back and getting injured again.
You know, actually, one that I'd love to see, they used him in the recent Man of Tomorrow, the Tomorrowverse first movie, and I really liked how they used him there. I would like Lobo in this show a lot. I think he would play really well.
Lobo would be good.
And then also bring in like aliens from other planets and kind of expand things, because we're learning about Thanagar and a lot of these other planets at the end of season 2. Now's the time to really open things up.
I would want to see.
I mean, shit, throw Martian Manhunter in there if you want to expand it like that too.
Yeah,
you know?
they actually threw one of his main uses. Not Martian Manhunter, is the character who I'm about to mention. His name is Mongol. They use the Black Death thing that, you know, lets you see your dream world or whatever. They use that at the end of season 2. So I mean, I think I would like to see how he's used in the series.
Yeah, I want them to expand a little more into, because Superman is inherently extraterrestrial, some of the stuff they do, and it'd be cool to see them dive into that and then slowly inch towards a wider thing. But yeah, let's get into the other thing.
Wait, actually, I do have like they're from I forget what Superman movie you're from, because you mentioned and Jalen, you mentioned Mongol, which brought me back to this. It's that it's like, I think his name's like Black Star or something. He's Manchester Black. He's from that movie, like the whole movie where he challenged Superman about what it means to be a hero. I think, especially going along with like the movie, that'd be a great thing to like force Superman about, like, force him to see like what does it mean to be a hero, like the whole thing with, like, you know, killing a bunch of people, right, in order to stop them from doing a lot of bad stuff. I think that would be a great thing to do, because we've already explored like what it means to balance hero stuff in the first season, you know, what it means to just like discover new things about yourself in the second season, and then this could like be a like real personal challenge about not just like physically but like mentally challenging himself to like what does it mean to be like Superman kind of thing, because he's had some experience now.
I like that. That goes on.
Yeah, that's not a bad pull at all. I think they did Manchester Black and Supergirl, and I thought he was a really fun little side character. That'd be cool to bring him back into the fold. I also wouldn't mind a proper Metallo, because we have Metallo, but it's not really like Metallo. It's just a robot. So a cool version of him would be cool. I think there's just a lot they could do, but again, like you said, Jackson, they've been setting up Lex, and I think now is his time to shine here, and I think they're gonna do it really well.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, Jalen, they got announced this. We covered this on the podcast like week 4, that they're doing My Adventures with Green Lantern, and as soon as I saw that shit, dude, I was like,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm
Animated
so hyped.
Green Lantern. This is literally what I want to see, right?
Yes.
So Jalen, you saw that before you watched this show. So now, after having watched this show, it's gonna follow Jessica Cruz in high school getting the Lantern ring. We're gonna see a lot of aliens in the core.
Doug,
Is your excitement gone like crazy?
Inject this into my bones right now. I need this show yesterday, bro. Which I'm curious to see which one they're gonna come out with first: My Adventures with Superman season 3 or My Adventures with Green Lantern, right? But
season 3 most likely, because that'll be the summer. I hope.
Wait, are they?
Is date on that?
Yeah, season 3 coming out this year.
They were recording it a while ago, and it's been every summer so far. So fingers crossed. Let's not jinx anything. But
okay, let's hope.
Praying, man.
But I will say, bro, just based off of that little 2-minute, 1-minute fight scene between Superman and that random Green Lantern. I need, some Jessica Cruz action in my life, especially because she is a person who struggles with PTSD, and all that. So seeing that in this anime style, and also just seeing all the creations and all the alien worlds, especially because like how they animated space and how they animated those final 2 episodes.
Beautiful.
Bro, when like the shots of Superman and Kara in the sun, and just the shots of the galaxy that they were in, and the asteroid fields, and just all that, beautiful. So can you imagine that with like the Sinestro Corps, or the Red Lanterns, or even the Sane Walker's Blue Lanterns, or anybody like that? I need the show. Josh, this is what I've been waiting for, man.
Yep.
Every week I will be tapped in minute
honestly,
one.
If it goes just as well, let's start rebuilding. Let's use this to rebuild the animated TV universe.
I was gonna say, I didn't want to sound too soup brain, but I really want a world's finest with this Superman.
Yeah, but you have to, I think, take your time to get there. I don't want them to rush into things. I need to see if this Green Lantern show goes well. If they go 2 for 2, then we're talking.
Yeah,
and then we can get a Wonder Woman show.
Wonder Woman with this?
She
this show, bro?
needs something.
Wait, so
actually good.
So let me ask, like, for you guys, what is a My Adventures series or character that you would want in this, if they do spin it off into a universe?
Oh, I think My Adventures with Flash, because he's like in terms of like DC characters,
that would have been my second answer.
Green Lantern and Flash are like right here for me, and it's like interchangeable because like they both have regular jobs, and then they get their powers. Like they're just regular people, and then they get their powers. They're not just like some like Batman or Superman or Martian Manhunter or like Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
they're just people, and it's like, oh, I can run at this speed of light, or I have the ability to make constructs with my mind now.
Yeah.
Right? So My Adventures with Flash would go so hard, especially with anime style, because you can do like the speed so much better than you can in like. Don't get me wrong, Marvel showed that you can do speed right with the Eternals, and especially like I forget what else they did like a speedster really well, but like you can do like speed blitzing, that kind of thing, so much easier in like anime style stuff, especially animated. So
can you imagine the speed force and like the lightning flowing off of him as he's like running?
God, that's so much.
I need it now, Sam. Come on, man.
Yeah, Flash would be sick.
There's honestly not a bad answer. I think it's just like, I love this show's aesthetic, but I just love how it captured the character, and having that authentic of an adaptation for any other character would be great. I would be curious to see what a Batman thing would look like, because it is so much lighter. That Batman is not typically that light, but we'll see how things pan out as the years go on. Hopefully with this show, because I would love to see 1,000,000 seasons. Yeah,
they did kind of set up a little bit of Batman story with Vicky Vale taking down the Falcons. Like that already right there could be interesting to see what that would be like in the anime style.
I think.
Yeah, so like clearly Batman does exist in this universe, so it's interesting. I'd just be interested to see what that looked like.
Yeah, I hope it would be a bit of a tonal clash in a good way, where it balances him out and he has to get used to like. I wouldn't want to see Batman like super light, like not Brave and the Bold Batman. I'd like to see a little more contrast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of balance. I have a couple trivia things before we're done, unless anyone has anything to add.
No, go for it.
2 things. Originally titled Superman Up and Away. I like this title more. It's grown on me so much, and I was mixed on it at first, but I've come around to it a lot.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually really good.
Yeah, and then our favorite star of Reagan, Dennis Quaid, Jack Quaid's father, was considered for Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel, and that was in the My Adventures of Superman trivia because they're related. And yeah, we could have had both Quaids in. Or no, not.
In the
Jonathan Kent. I was about to say not Jor-El, Jonathan Kent. We could have had both Quaids as Superman-related characters.
That would have been interesting.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Quaid also auditioned for Superman 25, but he kind of was like, I don't have the physique for it. I just wanted to like audition because I did the voice for it anyway. But he'll be there one day. He'll have the huge physique. I have a couple news stories for us guys that I didn't expect this first one. I went to a Comic-Con this weekend actually on Sunday in Michigan, and Jolo Maridueña, the guy who plays Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes was there. He's also in Cobra Kai and stuff. I tried to talk to him, and I wasn't like, I was like just saying hi because he was there, and then the lady was like, "You have to buy something or get out of line," and the minimum thing was $50. And considering we're all on college level, bro, I'm gonna be real. I was just like, I'm not just like shadow dropping $50 right here for a signature. I'm good. Like I was just coming to like say hi and see what was up with this Blue Beetle show. But I guess someone asked anyway because he said that production is starting early 2026. And that's exciting for me because I didn't know what the status kind of was on this show, if it was actually happening or not.
So a 2027
I'm
release.
very looking forward to it.
More than likely.
I mean, it could be 26 later if, considering it's animation, they could already be animating it right now.
I'm sorry, I'm a little caught up. Did he tell you to fuck off, or was it like his
No,
team?
the like management people.
Okay.
No,
all right.
Okay.
he would have been.
See,
I'm sure he would have been very
misinterpreted that.
nice.
I misinterpreted that.
Yeah,
I thought he said
I
told you to
I
fuck
was
off. I'm
really
like,
confused for a second. I was
okay.
like, oh,
no.
so he's a dickhead.
No,
Yeah.
Jolo seemed very nice. I actually got to talk to the guy that voiced Magneto in X-Men '97 for like 5 minutes because he was
Josh
just out on
knows
the
that
floor.
guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how I like connected, and he was
Yeah,
really.
You said, "Hey, I know Jammore TV."
Well, I started talking to him. I'm like, I was like, "Hey, man, I know Jammore." He's like, "Oh, I'm seeing him next weekend." It was a really nice conversation.
Oh yeah, I'll be
So
seeing
random.
him. I'll be
That's so
seeing.
random.
You know what? I'll be seeing. No,
That's crazy.
I'll be
That's so-
seeing him this weekend. I'll say I know Josh from Michigan.
Dude, yes, shout me out, bro. Anyway, that made up for the Jolo thing. I was just like, I remember when I was 10 years old, I did the same thing. I just walked up to Robin Lord Taylor, who played Penguin in Gotham, and talked to him for a little bit. And no one was like, "Hey, you have to buy something, dude." So I was just like, I don't know. If something was $10-$20, it'd be different, but I'm just not dropping $50.
$50 is
For
kind
a
of crazy.
signature.
I already
Yeah.
paid $50 to get in there. This is like
Yeah.
first world problems. I'm sorry, but at the same time, if a person that I recognize is in a building with me, yeah, sometimes I just want to go talk to him without having to pay for anything, just because
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but anyway, I am curious with this whole production, the timetable of it. But I'm happy that they are starting it because I was nervous that it wasn't happening at all.
Yeah,
and it was just kind
low
of like,
key, when it was announced, I was like, "Oh, that's top one things that's never gonna come out."
Yeah.
I'm glad to be
Right?
proven wrong because I am in the camp that movie's has a really good cast. I quite like all the core characters in that Blue Beetle film, and I'd like to see more of them.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird too is that remember when the DCU was like first getting announced, they're like, yeah, Blue Beetle isn't the first DCU film, but he is the first DCU character, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And now it kind of seems that like it's gonna be the Peacemaker route where he's there and like stuff is canon, but also the movie, you don't have to watch it.
But also with Blue
Okay.
Beetle, it's not even in the Peacemaker camp because Blue Beetle doesn't fucking reference anything from the DCEU. It references like, oh, Batman or Superman, but it's just like a vague, because it was in that era where it was just like a vague, faceless Batman.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
honestly should have just held it a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I agree. They should have waited till after Aquaman to drop it.
But
Yeah.
I think the only reason it's not the first DCU movie is just because it's not like successful and
Yeah,
it's not Superman. Right.
Yeah.
Sam, did you like Blue Beetle? Are you excited to see him back?
Blue Beetle again is one of my like top three like characters because I just love characters that use like constructs and just like make things to fight.
Yeah.
And that's what Blue Beetle does. He has a suit that literally can make like he made a Buster Sword, which was clearly a reference to like Final Fantasy or something like that. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm excited that we're getting more Blue Beetle stuff because like he's great and I feel like a lot of people should have came out to support it, but like it just fell flat, which sucked.
A month or two post The Flash was probably the biggest deterrent. Man.
Yeah.
I think people were just like absolutely zoned out at that point with DC,
Yeah.
which is
That is one I need to go back to at some point. is
yeah.
Blue
I love
Beetle.
his costume too. I didn't
Yeah.
know how it was gonna translate, and I think it works really well. The bigger thing, someone was kind of asking him like, "Hey, when are we gonna see his Blue Beetle again?" Because people are waiting, and he's like, keep going to the movies and like go see the new Superman, implying that he very well could be in this new Superman movie in some capacity. Obviously, not a big part, but like
Yeah.
a cameo type thing. That's very interesting. I don't know where he would slide in.
I mean, there are so many superheroes in this film.
They could like have like a scarab.
Mm-hmm.
They could.
Like they could have like Lex. Like Lex clearly hates like things in like hates aliens, right? So he could have like a Blue Beetle scarab as a way. It's like, okay, maybe we can use this to hurt Superman, right? Because they have Metamorpho literally create kryptonite in his hand in the trailer, keeping Superman in that glass box, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like he has a scarab, right? And then like we see him just like signing up for an experiment with it or something. So maybe that's what it is.
He also could be a part of the Justice Gang.
Could he also be lying?
That too. He could also be lying.
That's fair.
If he, I don't know why he'd be lying, Jax. I feel like he would just not say anything.
He said, "Oh, you should go see Superman," right?
Yeah, but like in a winking, like I'm gonna be in Superman type thing. I can pull up the direct quote.
But do we have? I would say, because the way he said it would, and I guess that none of us were there, but
right.
I don't know.
Well, I was there, but not there, man.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hey, man, I was boots on the ground for us exploring DC, and they didn't let me. But anyway, I'm curious. Like, let me see here. I have it. Yes. Okay, this is from a Redditor guy who was at this Comic-Con. And
Reddit's always right.
Yeah, Reddit's always right. He said, yesterday I met Jolo, and we mostly talked about Cobra Kai, but I asked him as I was leaving about a Blue Beetle sequel, and he responded with, I think you're going to see me in other movies first, and then he followed that up with, you should see Superman.
Well, he could just be saying, see the movie to like...
It is, but...
Like actors always, like NDA type stuff, like, he could easily just be saying that to, like, try and generate hype for Blue Beetle to get him into the DCU sooner, right?
Maybe.
I'm 50-50 on if this is really anything.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
I don't see where he fits in, right? Unless it's a post-credits type thing.
Or just like a quick cameo,
Yeah, because like you said, I know you said Justice Gang, Jalen. That would have worked if they wanted to do that. But I think this whole movie, they wanted to introduce new people for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for Frank Grillo for some reason. And I think that's like the big reason they didn't include him, is they just wanted this to be as standalone as possible. So that's why I'm like, why is he in this? I'm curious.
Could it be a post-credit scene type of thing? If they're, if post-credit scenes
I just don't see the post-credit scene on Superman being fucking Blue Beetle from that movie that bombed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we already have a good knowledge of our big cameo character. Spoilers, I mean, if you're not familiar with it, mute this for a second, but we kind of have a good idea that Supergirl is going to be towards the end of this movie.
I mean, yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be your big surprise character at the end. I don't know why you need Blue Beetle as well.
Yeah.
Or where he would fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was all interesting. The other thing I have here, we've been getting Superman toys like galore leaking out, and a few things that got confirmed, which were cool. Ultraman is confirmed. That is the guy with the U. That is with Engineer and Frank Grillo. I'm sure that's another David Corn sweat underneath, and that's why he has a full mask on. And I'm sure that's not the final costume. But I'm fascinated. Is this a different Earth Ultraman? Is this just like a clone? Like, what's the situation?
Yeah.
Here. You know what I mean?
With
Jalen, how do you feel like they're tackling
with
this?
LexCorp being involved? They might be like combining Ultraman with the whole Bizarro route, where it's like another version of David Corn Sweat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I
don't
like
know how interested I am in seeing Bizarro though.
Yeah, I'm not really too interested in it, that much. If I'm being honest, kind of like you, I am interested in the thing that I keep saying is I'm just interested to see how they're going to juggle all of this. Because like I said, he is going up against like 7 or 8 people in this movie, so it'll be interesting to see like how they juggle everybody and give them all a reason to be in this movie besides just, oh, this character's cool, this character's obscure and cool, and you guys should know who this character is now, and they should be mainstream, so let's put them in a Superman movie, But we'll see.
Right.
We will see.
Evil Superman number 15 of the past, 10 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Sam, are you liking what they're setting up, Ultraman? Right.
I think that could be cool. I don't really know a whole lot about Ultraman, but I think it could be cool. From like the little
I don't
that
think
I
they're
know
doing.
about them.
They're definitely not doing the classic Earth 3 crime syndicate. There's no way I feel like that they're
There's no way. No.
jumping back into multiverse like that.
I hope the
I don't
fuck
think
not
they
for
would.
everybody's
That would
sake.
be like if they
Right.
start
No more
fucking
multiverse.
shit,
No.
right? Especially with like their main movie. No, that's not.
Yeah.
Gonna work.
Well, hey,
Like they need.
that
They need.
that Peacemaker trailer. I mean,
Okay,
could it be
that's
happening?
we don't. Okay, we know that's like
That's a
obviously
different beast.
because
That's a different beast.
Okay.
it's Peacemaker.
All right.
It's just ridiculous stuff, right?
I'm
Like,
devil's advocating right now.
They have to set
I think
groundwork, right?
I would argue that Peacemaker doing it is a lot different than if Superman did.
Yeah.
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 I think the Flash's like unilateral failure is like the biggest deterrent keeping them from going back into multiverse. Plus Marvel's really in the trenches with it.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think they're like we kind of fucked up the multiverse before. I don't know if we want to do it.
No, but Avengers Doomsday is gonna be so good.
Shit,
I
bro.
can't wait. Movie of the year.
Exploring Marvel.
Don't.
Yeah. We saw confirmation that Lex is gonna have a power suit in this movie from a toy. This
Yes.
is my boy.
Yes, I'm
This will be
excited.
back. Except it's a darker green in the movie.
Okay,
apparently.
well,
So
yeah.
that's my goat. Nicholas Holt suited up in this final act.
I'm excited to see like top tier Lex Luthor or hater of Superman. That's
yeah.
what I want for my Lex Luthor.
That's what I'm seated for.
He looks like such a loser in this movie in the best way
Yeah.
possible. Like he's
Yes.
just seething every shot so far, and it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I think
Just
Nicholas
a
Holt's gonna be
raging
such a
dickhead.
standout too.
I
Nicholas
really
Holt's been
do
like
think
on my.
I really do think that it like works well. That he literally wanted to be Superman. He didn't get the role, and now he's playing Lex Luthor against the person who is playing
There
who
you
got
go.
the role instead of him. You know, there's like legitimate. It's like I hate you.
Yeah,
It's all method acting.
that's peak catering right there, man. You gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then the last thing, we're going to see both a baby version of the kaiju, which is interesting, and then also this character who people believe are Metamorpho and what? Jalen, who's Simon Stagg's daughter? What's her name?
Sapphire Stag.
Sapphire Stagg and Metamorpho's child, who is this, like, if you haven't seen the toy, it's a very, like,
Ugly baby.
traditional looking green alien baby called Baby Joey.
Wait, their
which
child?
we probably should not have seen before.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that
we
was.
should not have seen this
Baby
before the movie
11.
came out.
Oh
whatever it is.
my gosh.
Superman. I want to look this up.
Jackson, what do you think they're doing with this thing? What, like, I'm so confused.
Oh, what?
It looks
Oh,
like
God,
a fake
that's
toy.
It's a
Ugh.
hideous baby. It's a hideous child, and I hope that it gets.
It literally looks like the child version of the Grinch from like the Jim Carrey movie. That's what it looks like.
That's an apt comparison, and I hope Ultraman punches its skull.
I'm just
Violent,
confused
bruh.
what it is. How did you get here,
I
Baby
hope
Joey?
the brains splatter.
Yeah?
I want them to push the boundaries of what can be done in a PG-13 movie and murder this child
Yeah,
to Baby
because
Baby Joey?
I don't like it, and yeah, fuck Baby Joey.
it's scary. I looked at the picture of it. It legitimately, it's like, whoa, okay, all right. You scared me a little bit there.
Do you think Baby Joji is the Jar Jar Binks of the DC?
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
He comes back in 2 movies and he appoints Lex Luthor the Senate.
So what we're saying is, Baby Joey is going to lead to the rise of fascism, and
Yeah.
but if we're following that chain, we'll get a really good TV show in about 20 years.
Where Darth Baby Joey will appear in Fortnite.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, man. I don't know what this is. Metamorpho Child. I am so excited for Metamorpho as a character, but I don't know I don't know. I can't judge it. I don't know what the movie is related to it, but it looked hideous, and I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, it
but
looks-
I'm sure it'll be fine in the movie.
But I mean, Gunn has had weird looking things in all of his movies, so
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm not really concerned that Gunn has a freaky looking thing in his movie. That just does
Yeah.
not concern me in the slightest.
Yeah.
director of Sliver has something that
Freaky
looks
in his
gross.
movie, right?
Yeah. That's
Like-
all I have for us this week. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. It was very
No problem.
nice to have you. Next week, we are going to be tackling Superman 3, a big step down from the first two, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye.